tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Studio Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium and opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Democracy in Spice Isles is alive and well. Ask you questions, sing and beat you drum. Make you suggestions, encourage them on to walk the straight and narrow in the land. Politics, religion and economic issue, regional, international, spiritual issues too. Agricultural, environmental and trending to subject matter. We fear none, we back down.
Yes, my brothers and sisters, welcome back to another program with the Galaxy Equalizers on Studio Galaxy in Confer. And remember, we provoke discussions on our program. We welcome and highly appreciate those who participate, contribute, ask questions, and those who disagree with us. You don't have to agree with us on this program. The number to call is 536-2558. The topic this morning, Carricom leaders in a state of paralysis. Carricom leaders in a state of political paralysis. I'm very, very disappointed in our Carricom leaders. It seems that they don't understand geopolitics. They don't understand the play of the imperial power. This is not about wrong and right. This is about power play. Imperial power. They forget history. I think it was Kennedy when Russia wanted to put nuclear weapons in Cuba. Kennedy said no. Not in the American back door. At one stage he said stop them, search them, and sing them. United States of America was prepared to go to war if Russia attempt to put nuclear weapon on their back. Let us jump and go to Ukraine. You must go back to Joseph Stalin and the Great Famine, when thousands of Ukrainians starve. They starve. They eat dog. Some people say they eat human being. I don't believe that. But they say that. You never could tell. You have to go back and remember that the British government and the United States of America, to avoid the proliferation of nuclear weapons, encourage or force Ukraine to give back the nuclear weapon to Russia. Because then they believe less nations that have nuclear weapons is easier to control the destruction of the world. And they promise to defend Ukraine against Russia. Russia claims they don't want Ukraine to join the European Union. Why? The European Union have a policy. If you touch one, you touch all. Switzerland was a neutral country. Even during World War II, Switzerland choose to remain neutral. They become an economic power as a result of their neutrality. Bandit, good people, banking in Switzerland because they believed the money was protected. In today's world, no one remains neutral. No one remains neutral. Finland and Switzerland joined the European Union. As Russia sick under Putin, who was a KGB agent, to bring back the glory days of the United Soviet Socialist Republic. Those days are done forever. But the imperial power is changing because China is flexing the muscle. Africa is a harvesting ground. Maybe in the next 1,000 years, Africa may become a world power. We have 54 countries, and if you ask Morocco, it's 55 countries in Africa. Our Caribbean leaders, all you let me down. You're a small group of islands in the American back door. Some American leaders tolerate your non-aligned nonsense. When you say you're non-aligned, you lie, you didn't non-align. You was aligned to the Soviet Union with your pro-Marxists. Our people in the Caribbean, let those Marxist leaders lie to them. They lie. Communism done good. If you don't believe me, ask those promoters of communists to give you 3 important principles of communism that is beneficial to our people. Most of the communist leaders pretending they're communists, pretending they're not communists. They're lying. Most of them are atheists. Most of the people who promote communism, progressive socialism, Marxist-Leninism, they are atheists. They don't believe in God. They don't respect human rights. They don't respect women. They're not clear on morality. And they believe in jailing all those who disagree with them. One of the common principles of the communist countries, they put dissidents in jail. If you object to them, you're likely to go to jail. All of them have political prisoners. Cuba, Russia, China, Venezuela, they have political prisoners. They align with any country to get the objective. Iraq, Iran align with the communists. And when they overtake, they jail the communists. Maurice Bishop aligned with the big businessmen in Grenada. And when Maurice Bishop come in power, he jailed the big businessmen. He jailed Kenny Larson. He jailed Leslie Pierre, the trade unionist. He jailed Lloyd Noel. Some of the medical doctors, there was one doctor, I ain't calling him name. They treat them so bad. They even rape the doctor in front of him. They lack morality. They don't believe in God. They want to take on the great America because they support Russia. They are communists. United States of America is an imperial power that used gunboat policy to continue to propagate the power. You remember United States and Panama? They go in Panama, they take Noriega, they jail him, and then they send him in France to jail him. And then they send him back in Panama to jail him again. Panama say, oh God, die too much. You remember Maurice Bishop? the great orator, charismatic. If you touch Nicaragua, you touch Cuba, you touch Grenada. AK speaking Spanish, and Reagan cannot understand it. You remember Ronald Reagan in the White House? It is not nutmeg that is at stake. It's the American national security. Every politician in the Caribbean must always remember that. It is not sea and sand that at stake. It's the American national security. And then you have a president, Donald Trump. Some people call Donald Trump a bully. And they may be right. I will more than that. I will call him a moron. I will call him untactful. I will call him disrespectful. But I support a lot of Donald Trump policies. Then you have Maduro in the Caribbean. Who gave Venezuela the right to own 1/3 of Guyana? What historical or geographical authority Venezuela have to claim Guyana? Venezuela was, the colonial power was the Spanish. And in Guyana, the colonial power was the English. So who gave Venezuela the power, the authority, historical and legal, to claim Guyana? Venezuelans are not the locals in South America. And Guyanese are not the local in Guyana. Maduro do not respect the international court. So when we're speaking about wrong and right now, we have to have the court. The justice system is the court, even if the court crooked. But the court come in to settle the issue. Maduro refused to respect the jurisdiction of the court. Well, if he don't respect the jurisdiction of the court, then who could tame him? It takes a bully like Donald Trump. Maduro is a bully. I have no tears to shed for him. And I have no tears to shed for those who shedding tears for Maduro. He's a bully. Venezuela has bullied Guyana. They have bullied Trinidad and Tobago. They have bullied Dominica. And they have bullied Grenada. But somehow we Grenadian communists, Marxists, Leninists, and atheists, they support Maduro because of communist Russia. United States sending an armada. Look at the level of ammunition and firepower the United States have in the Caribbean. You expect Russia to come there? You expect Russia to attack America over Venezuela? You expect China to attack America over Venezuela? Venezuela is supposed to be the richest country in the Caribbean. They have squandered opportunity. Rich country sitting on oil. 8 million of you people running. When your people run, who you think does live your country? Young people. The intelligentsia. Your young women and men. Principally between 18 and 35, 40 that live in. That is your workforce. When these people leave, you have brain drain. You have bankruptcy. The people who remain are a lot of the elderly people. You have a breakdown in discipline. You end up with crime and banditry. The bandits go and join the army. And now they are empowered like in Grenada. They're taking advantage on people. How you going to run country like that? How you going to develop country so? Our Carricom leaders was not prepared for what going on. That is what saddens my heart. It's not that they could have stopped it, but they were not prepared. I listened to Mia Motley. I've been following her since she was about 25 years Attorney General, following along. I was never impressed with her before, but I thought when she come back in politics, she should have been lone and macho. And people lean on her. I don't think she's a Christian. I think she's an atheist. He's one of those university graduates that propagating communism once it is not practiced on them. They want freedom, but they want to take people's freedom away from them. So she couldn't get her way in Barbados. So she wise, survivor. Ralph Gonzalez, well, he no longer. Forget him. Rowley and them, they have a love-hate relationship with America. America is aware of that. The Caribbean leaders are more communist and socialist. But the people do not accept the wholesale implementation of progressive socialism, communism, atheism. We are kind of Sunday Christians or Saturday Christians. We're praying for God to come. Some people, when they're in problem, they want God to come now. God not coming now. Well, against an if God come now are dead. But God tell you, the Bible say, one day is like 1,000 years. And 1,000 years is like a day. And do not excite yourself about the ending of the world, but live every day as if it's the last. Why are you bothering about when world go in, world will end? Guyana must be glad that Donald Trump invade Venezuela. It may not prevent their ambition, but it may turn back the hand of the clock or slow down the clock. Carricom leaders have to realize we're not living in the American back door. Bishop used to say that. We're living in the American front door. Our people are more likely to gravitate to the United States of America than Russia and China and Iran. Our leaders who are propagating communism in Grenada, they want to implement it, but they don't want to practice it. The communists, the progressive socialists, the Marxist-Leninists, and radical Islam is working together. Some of our leaders in Grenada in particular are atheists. And they're developing a great love for radical Islam. But it was not prepared for a man like Trump. Remember, Trump is not the traditional politician. He's a strong businessman that believes make a deal. He don't mind Ukraine giving Russia some land for peace. He don't mind that. He said Europe more likely to be affected by Russia than America because America is separated by sea. But Europe have a land border with America. And Trump chastised Europe, and I agree with him, for not investing what they say in the military. They're lying to the people. You plan to put 2.5% in the military, do it. Now they're fighting to put 5%. They're ill-prepared. The whole of Europe is littered with American bodies. Let me repeat that. For those Marxists, Leninists, and communists in Grenada, the whole of Europe is littered with American bodies. Churchill begged America to join the war. Yugoslavia called on America. America sent 8 generals President Tito said not generals we want. We want army. We have men. It was America that joined World War II that stopped Germany. 52,000 Americans died in one day. And some people asking the question, why is it American lives must be paid for Europe wars? United States had to be dumb and stupid to let Venezuela have nuclear weapons. This is not about right and wrong. This is about geopolitics, imperial power. When they tell Adolf Hitler that the Pope going to vex, Adolf Hitler asked them how much troops the Pope have. The Pope was very influential. They say if you do that, the Pope go vex. You don't give support. Adolf Hitler asked the general, how many troops the Pope have? When you could answer that, come back to me. The Caribbean failed to act as a broker for peace. That's all you had the power to do. I verily believe that you could have prevented Donald Trump from invading Venezuela. If you had sent a strong delegation to negotiate with Donald Trump, and you go to Maduro and say, Maduro, what a bad. Donald Trump is a bully just like you. You is a Form 1 bully, and he is a Form 5 bully. Offer him a deal. Recognize the International Court decision with Guyana. Agree to settle the boundary delimitation. I don't know if that's the right word.
That's the right word.
With Trinidad. Abandon Border Island. And offer to be more open about narco-terrorism with Donald Trump. Set up a working committee with independent individuals. Maduro, this is not about right and wrong. You are Form 1 bully, and he's a Form 5 bully. And it don't make sense being a dead hero. Donald Trump might have backed down because he could have get what he want. You could have even offered to call all the election and get international supervisors. I am disappointed in Carricom leaders. If you had tried that, then history would have said these leaders in the Caribbean really want peace. You don't want peace. You're bad-minded as Donald Trump and Maduro. You don't want peace. Take Grenada. More than 20% of our GDP is a direct contribution to the university, St. George's University, that is the greatest supplier of medical doctors to the United States of America. The government sold 11,000 passports because Deacon want to be a billionaire. And the fastest way to sell passport, to be a billionaire, is to sell passport. Because he's likely to make over 30 million per annum money. You could export fish and sauce up to the U.S. market. And sauce up, all the farmer have to do is to plant the sauce up tree. No animal readily eats sauce up. If they're starving, they go eat anything and dead. They eat poison when they're dead, when they're starving. So the sauce up could survive once its head is above the bush. The farmers in Grenada don't have to have its sauce up. And they're getting about $3 a pound for it. Better than nutmeg. We export fish to the U.S. market. Remuneration, not remuneration. Remittance. I the word. Me English, po. Remittance. Even during COVID-19, Grenada was one of the only countries in the region that remittance increased. It didn't drop. The majority of our people who is in the diaspora is in America, good bit in Trinidad, Canada and England. So our foreign policy should be reflective of our socio-economic situation. You don't choose a leader to push his own agenda. A leader push the agenda of his people. When Maurice Bishop was beating his chest, Maurice Bishop was a jackass. Ronald Reagan says not nutmeg that at stake is a national security. Deacon Mitchell decided to build a new jail. You have 100,000 people. You have one of the best police force in the region. You have one of the highest rate of solving crime. You have one of the lowest crime rate. What you want to build a big prison for? Your emphasis ought to be reducing crime. Deacon Mitchell want to build a hospital. Research, tourism, you have another one. It's three things. Research, tourism, and teaching. But in my sojourn about hospitals in the world, Deacon Hospital look as a place for transgender and for harvesting parts of human body. Let me repeat that. I believe those who are backing Deacon to build a new hospital in Grenada want to harvest poor people parts. There's a big racket in the world for organs. Rich people don't want to die. A man paying $2 million for a heart easy. And if $160,000 could have caused number 10 to jump fence with drama, $2 million, what you think $2 million could do? People buying kidney for $350,000. If my kidney sick now are dead, can the Public Workers Union throw me out from the medical health plan? I'm dead. But if I was a millionaire, you don't worry. You just give a man $5 million for a kidney. Somebody taking out a kidney in days and give you, because you could buy a kidney. But the United States of America for years now is fighting down these spots. So they need a little country to able to have his spots. And I believe that is what behind Deacon. Deacon is greedy. His main aim is to turn a billionaire. He is void of morality. He said, morality is a private thing. So this new hospital they're bringing, based upon what I'm hearing and afraid to believe, would be an extractor, a harvester of human parts. Ask yourself this question. You have 100,000 people. You have Princess Alice. You have the St. George's Hospital. You have a polytechnic in Gov that could be seriously upgraded. You have one in St. Patrick's that could seriously upgrade it. You want a new hospital. What the new hospital for? For teaching, for research, and tourism. You hear the word? Tourism. I believe that this new hospital, one of the main objectives would be a harvester of human organs. They're not giving you information on it. So they're getting problem in America now because they realize a lot of hospitals are trading in illegal drugs and they're harvesting human parts. These big businessmen are big thinkers, you know. So they get nice little dick in Grenada, a fake, to establish an entity to harvest human parts. Ask him what he's doing with it. You don't have to believe me. I don't want you to believe me when I speak. Do your own research. Remember, when you research, you're not doing it to present a technical paper, you know, to have the courage of your own conviction. Ask them what they're going to do with the Princess Alice Hospital and the St. George's Hospital and the Polytechnic in Guava and St. Patrick's. Ask them where they expect the tourists from. The tourists from the Far East, the African countries, where you have millionaires. From China, where they want parts, human being parts. Donald Trump seems to have invaded, intervened, or trying to kidnap Maduro. You put any name you want. This is not right and wrong. This is an imperial power. One bully, a big bully, go after a small bully. Maduro is a bully. I have no tears to shed for him. You just meet a bully from fight.
Meet a bad bully.
You meet a bad bully. Carricom leaders, you were not prepared. And that is my disappointment. When you see the level of military hardware that gone to Venezuela, when you see Donald Trump declare there's a drug, fentobarbital, not fentobarbital. One of the drugs, the manner in which he declared, as if it's a area where, and Donald Trump fine going and killing those people on the boat. How could our Caribbean leaders remain in a state of paralysis? You did nothing. All the time, Mia Motley and others beating the chest. Jamaica pull out from you long. They say they ain't doing nothing to upset the Americans. Trinidad pull out. Trinidad have over 50,000 Venezuelan. Trinidad know Venezuela is a bully. When they hold the fishermen, they pin on them. Venezuelan police like to pin you. Military. Now, how come our Carricom leaders so dumb? You did nothing. You could fight America. Economically, you can't fight America. As soon as they threaten visa, you're trembling. You're likely to have a group of people coming back to our islands that is angry and believe the policy of the government is contributing to it. I asked today on this program, because of the state of paralysis that Carricom leaders are in now, they were not proactive. They didn't even prepare for eventuality. I asked the question, is Deacon Mitchell a Muslim? Based upon the information I hear, is Peter David a Muslim? It doesn't matter what they are. That is a business. But if they want to lead the country, we ought to know. And it's a legitimate question because it has implication for the policy that the leaders would implement in Grenada. I asked the NDC hardliners, those that afraid to hold discussion about Deacon wrongdoing, why you think Deacon want to drop the age of civil responsibility to 12-year-old? Go in front of the mirror. Watch the mirror good and ask yourself, did we have any problem with civil responsibility in Grenada? Why all of a sudden Deacon want to drop the age of civil responsibility to 12 years old? Is Deacon Mitchell a Muslim? I see he start fighting to dress like one. I notice the regularity with which he visits some Muslim country. We heard he went to Taraba State. I have not heard him express solidarity with the Christians that have been murdered in Africa. Is Deacon Mitchell a Muslim? Is Peter David a Muslim? Why Peter David accepted the request and the call from Deacon to sell passport? I wonder if some of the top lieutenants of Peter David is not disappointed that he's an agent selling passport.
Gotta eat.
We expect these men to be the check and balance. Because if Deacon selling passport, if Andrea Bernard selling passport, if Dennis Cornwall selling passport, if Nazim Buck selling passport, if Richard Duncan can see the selling passport, and Peter David joined selling passport, who is going to guard the gods? And Peter David cannot sell passport without the blessing of Deacon. Peter David, you are the newest party on the block. You must tell us what deal you and Deacon make. Did you all make the deal because you are both of you all are Muslims? Or did you all make this deal because the Marxist-Leninists, the progressive socialists, the communists, and radical Islam is working together? I do not envy you all, because the truth will come to tongue. We provoke discussion on this program and let the chips fall where you fall. Say ye. We believe that all people deserve to know the truth. We believe when we ask pertinent and legitimate questions, our leaders ought to answer. There are so much factors that surrounds our Grenadian present-day politician. So much of them that it must cause raise eyebrow. Peter David, if you're an agent selling passport, we believe you have a duty and a responsibility and an obligation to tell us what deal you struck with Deacon. You cannot sell passport if Deacon don't agree. Peter David, do you support the visit of Deacon to Taraba State? I have not heard none of you express solidarity with the Christians that have been murdered in Africa. And don't tell me it's not a topical issue. You know? Donald Trump bombed someplace in Nigeria. And they say, I heard over the news, that the Nigerian government was in collaboration with the United States to bomb these terrorists in Nigeria. I've not heard you made any comment. And as a man of your political caliber, it is absolutely necessary. Deacon Mitchell, every country he goes, he dresses as he reflects the people in the country. Are you still in solidarity with Mudura? Or are you in a state of paralysis? Mia Motley, are you in a state of paralysis? Did you all expect Maduro to fire missile behind Trinidad? Because Pamela decided to seek she interest. She knows Venezuela is a bully to Trinidad, a bully to Grenada, a bully to Dominica and Border Island, and a bully to Guyana. Carricom countries. We need leaders to think. You are not military force. You are a part of the regional security unit led by America. You have not signed any agreement with America, one for all, but you should understand, you're living in the American front door. Not the back door. Not the back door. You must remember history is not a question of wrong and right. It's a question of the imperial powers and the power they have. Do you think you're going to get a better deal from China? Every time I watch the Chinese workers on a truck going up in Liberia, I feel sorry for them. They look as if them is prisoners. They don't seem they have the authority to stop in a shop. As all Grenadians would say, stop, I want to buy some water. I ask myself, what happened to us in the Caribbean? We enjoy a freedom that almost all communist countries would envy. The Russians don't have that freedom. They have thousands of people in jail. The Venezuelans don't have that freedom. They have thousands of people in jail. The Chinese don't have that freedom. They have millions of people in jail. Now, why is it our leaders in the Caribbean is advocating an ideology that seems to be counterproductive to the wishes and the belief of the people? They can't even explain what that ideology is. They have to hide to present the case to people. They have to disguise the intention. They have to lie to people. Grenada have an example that we ought not to make the mistakes we make in the past. We had Maurice Bishop. The Maurice Bishop of this world don't come every day. He was a great orator, tall red man, ideal model for women. And he could speak. And the issues he speak on was pertinent at that time. Anti-capitalism, neo-colonialism, and etc. We saw what happened. Maurice Bishop jailed the people in the privilegiancia class. Maurice Bishop jailed the trade unionists. Maurice Bishop jailed the journalists. Maurice Bishop jailed the Rastafarians. And he trained them to be against Christianity. They were atheists. They didn't believe in God. When they out a cigarette on Bishop, and Bishop complained, they said to him, not that you teach us to do. Maurice Bishop is out his cigarette on the victims. So they out a cigarette on him.
Wow.
And when Maurice Bishop, they said, that is what you teach us to do. When Jacqueline Creff appealed to them like a monkey that she pregnant, they had lack moral clarity. Morality was not part of the principles. So they go down and they take spade and pick up dead carcass. And then they burn it. And then they bury the remains. Because they say the fat one had to burn. Grenada have had an example. Why is it we are tolerating leaders who hiding information? I ask today, as our Caribbean leaders in a state of paralysis, I ask because I have no tears to shed for Maduro. He was a bully in the Caribbean. And now he meet a bigger bully. I do hope democracy will reign in Venezuela. And the people running from Venezuela will be able to go back and develop the country and live in peace. I hope they'll have freedom of the media, because the media help to keep politicians in check. And I do hope Deacon Mitchell would tell us if he's a Muslim. And Peter David would tell us if he is a Muslim. And Peter David would tell us what deal he make with Deacon Mitchell so he could sell passport. And Peter, don't forget, when you start to talk, tell us too about the Angola option. We must not continue to behave as a recurring decimal. The mistakes we make in the past, we should not make it. Grenada is a beautiful country, well poised for takeoff. Some politicians have tried hard. Electricity, telephone, water, and internet, we second to none, comparable with the best and better than most. We have the most landowners in the region. I don't talk about the roads. We have the best network of roads in the region. We have 100,000 people with over 68,000 registered vehicles. Our schools are better than most countries in the Caribbean. Our teacher-to-children ratio is about 1 to 15. Our teachers just lackadaisical and they lack passion and they're not hungry for education for our children. We have freedom of the press. If I was in Cuba, I'd dead long. If I was in Russia, I sit up all my foot in the Siberia. If I was in Iran, I would have been stoned to death. And if I was in China, I would have gone in jail. But I in Grenada, so I could speak. And I like that freedom. And I provoke discussion. I am not in support of the actions taken by this government to close down the press. And I'm very suspicious of the relationship that is unfolding between Dick Mitchell and Peter David. Why do I say that? The sale of passport. The fact that I believe both of them are Muslims. I don't know how extreme they are. Whether they are Boko Haram, or whether they are just mild, pleasant Muslim. I don't know. But I'm concerned because both of them remaining too quiet. They're like snake in the grass. They're like sleeper cells. They're not telling you the truth. And Deacon Mitchell is using the coffers of government for good relationship among people. You can't do that. The writing is on the wall. I encourage my brothers and sisters to ask questions, do research, list some of the danger signs. The signs are there. The signs are there. We must not make the mistakes of the past. I have no tears to shed for Maduro. Maduro is a Form 1 bully. Donald Trump is a Form 5 bully. based upon the United States system, in 4 or 5 years, we may not hear about Donald Trump again. And another government will come. But in the communist countries, you have no hope to change the government. You could only change them through bloodshed. And they are so brutal. They will kill millions of people. Thanks of the media, the press now, that they could show them what they're doing. They could show their faces. That is what they're afraid. Eventually, Iran might slaughter a number of the people in Iran. They get fed up with the leadership. They get fed up with radical Islam. We in Grenada, the writing is on the wall. Ask questions. Why is it the government is so preoccupied with financial strangulation of the press? Why the government is so preoccupied in going after personalities that disagree with them? Why is the government so preoccupied with building a new prison? Why the government want to build a teaching, research and tourist hospital? We believe that one of the objectives is to harvest human parts. There's a lucrative market in the world for kidneys and heart and lungs and liver and veins. Anything they could sell, they're selling it. And when they provide that hospital, it is not to meet the needs of our people in Grenada. It's to meet the needs of money makers and grabbers. And Dickney is a grabber. He wants to be a billionaire. Well, he's a millionaire, so he wants to be a billionaire. And the other ministers say, well, if them is thousandaire, they want to be millionaires too. You heard the cry of Tevin Andrew. He must reach million. You say win, lose, a draw. He fixed for life. The sister from God. Over 600,000 in her bank account. And she says she give out 300,000 of her own money. Come on. Where we going? What we doing? This is a program that we will continue to have during the year. We ask questions. We provoke discussion. We fear no one. Because we believe that is the kind of contribution we could make to raise the awareness of people that we are our own worst enemy. We have to help our government to walk the straight and narrow. When we see our government doing corrupt things, we have to complain. If our government doing what is right, but people don't understand what they are doing, we have to prepare to provide information. I appeal to NDC members. You who telling Dickney you're right, please provide explanation, justification, reason why Deacon want to build a teaching, research, and tourist hospital. We believe one of the objectives is to extract human parts. Why he wants to expand the prison? When we have a very good police force, one of the best in the Caribbean. In addition to that, our crime is one of the lowest. And the rate of solving crime is the highest. Why? No justification. We're going to continue to ask the question. Brother Peter Davis is the newest old kid on the block where political party is concerned. 70 years. Start a movement. And he hiding. He's not telling us the truth. Peter David should prepare to expose himself to journalists to ask questions and answer questions. But you don't have to come to us. No politician have to come to us. We don't invite a politician. If the politician come, we welcome them. We will not refuse no politician. We ask our questions publicly. And you will hear much more questions from us. But we believe that we are able to address the challenges that would make us a